What's going on, Softwash TV? It's your boy Kyle Maguire from United Softwash. I hope y'all are doing good. Let's head over to the shop, get the wash truck ready, and go wash some houses today, because today I'm going to teach you how to soft wash a house the right way. All right, everybody, we're at the wash compound, and I'm here with my wash truck, Medusa, making sure everything's good to go. What I like to do at the end of every wash day is make sure my truck is in good working order. That way it just makes it easy for me the next day. So we're good to go. The big three is water, fuel for my fuel cells, and bleach, guys. So I have all of those. All of my pump up sprayers are topped off. I have backup parts, backup downstream injectors, everything I need in case I have a failure out in the field. So we're good to go. I'm gonna back this truck out and we're gonna head to the first job site. All right, everybody, I'm at job site number 1. I'm about to walk you around the home. I already have the hoses pulled and I've done some property protection, so we'll talk about every step of that and I'll show you what we got here at our first job of the day. All right, as you can see, I have my vehicle parked curbside where all my hose reels are, and I could easily pull my hose to the property. You saw I had some cones out there. That way I could identify the trip hazard for the neighbors in this community. Let's come in here on the front of the house. First thing I did was some property protection. This is an electrical outlet right here. It already had covers, but I still like to use black grocery bags and red stucco tape, guys. Red stucco tape is great because you could tape off doorbells and electrical outlets, and it doesn't have that much adhesive stickiness on the back where it's going to leave a residue on the home siding. But in here we just have a lot of caked on pollen and a lot of organics. You could look up in all these nooks and crannies. We got cobwebs and mildew. We're going to get them cleaned up though. As you can see on the front of the house, this is where the most organic growth is. You can see there's already green on this vinyl siding. So we're gonna soft wash this home, guys. Low pressure. The biggest mistake people make when washing homes is they apply high pressure on the siding, and they also don't do property protection like we talked about. Taping off outlets, taping off doorbells, taping keyholes, and then also taking care of the plants. We'll talk a little bit more about plants whenever I start washing, but look at all of these seams on the vinyl siding. You can see that there's a little bit of mildew at every seam, and that's because down here in the south or wherever you're at, you might see it. The heat behind the vinyl siding, whenever it's escaping, it comes out of those seams, and that hot air fosters an environment that grows mildew. That's why you see it all the time. So we've got a lot of mildew in this screened-in porch, as well as pollen. And if you look up here on the ceiling, we have mildew and a lot of bugs and spider webs, but we're gonna make this place sparkle. The homeowner of this house was a little bit concerned with taking these lights down prior to the washing, but I explained to them that being that I'm spraying at a very low PSI, they could leave the lights up. Just as long as they're unplugged, it doesn't make a difference to me. I am gonna go in that screened-in porch and move out a couple of things. They got some plants inside there, but the wicker furniture, I could go in there and I'm just going to spray off the pollen off of that stuff, and it doesn't really bother me that that stuff's still inside the screened-in porch. You guys, real quick, I'm at my house right now and I want to talk about two things with siding that I forgot to talk about out in the field. All right, so two things to look out for. One is oxidized siding, so make sure you always check for this at the customer's house. Go to the side of the house that gets a lot of sunlight and rub your fingers on the siding. If you have a chalky substance, a chalky residue on your fingers, that house is oxidized, guys. So let the customer know, and then be cognizant how much pressure you're using when you're applying soap and you're rinsing, because the last thing you want to do is inadvertently remove oxidation because of too much pressure, and then you're going to have Zorro lines all through the house, guys. The next thing I want to talk about is painted surfaces. So whether it's James Hardy board, it's aluminum siding, it's stucco, if it's painted, ask the customer if they used an organic pigment paint. If they don't know, you could test for it. I like to use a pump up sprayer, and I go somewhere out of sight, maybe behind the AC unit or something, and I'll spray a 1 foot by 1 foot square with sodium hypochlorite, guys, and I'll let it dwell for a few minutes, and I'll see if I have any adverse reaction to the paint. If there's no adverse reaction, you know you're in the clear. You could go ahead and soap down the house and continue washing. But if you have an adverse reaction, it's pretty safe bet that they used an organic pigment paint, guys. So what we're spraying, sodium hypochlorite, it works as an algicide. It neutralizes organics. So you could see why there would be an adverse reaction. So two things: oxidized siding, check for that, and then check the paint if it's a painted surface. All right, guys, back to the video. Make sure you stay to the end of the video. We're going to deep dive into the equipment that I use, but just looking at this gun right here, this is a Suttner trigger gun, and I have an adjustable M5 twist nozzle and a shooter tip right there. That M5 twist nozzle allows me to spray at a very low pressure whenever I'm washing this house. Before I start spraying chemical on this house, I want to take care of these plants, and I want to ensure that we're not going to burn these plants up. So I'm spraying water on them. That way the first thing that they soak up is water and not chemical, guys. Another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cool the siding down, guys. And today I actually don't have to do this because it's a pretty cool day. But in the middle of summertime, when it's extremely hot, whenever that sun is baking on the siding, you want to cool that siding down. You could actually go up and put your hand on it and you could feel it thermally. It's very hot. So we want to bring that temperature down. So with clean water, we're just going to rinse the house down and cool the siding down. Next, we can start spraying our chemical, guys. And we're going to talk more about the equipment at the end of the video and downstreaming. But the mix that we're spraying is a sodium hypochlorite solution. That's the active ingredient in bleach. Sodium hypochlorite is the industry standard for cleaning organics off of homes, off of roofs, off of concrete, off of anything, guys. So the industry standard, most companies buy it at 12.5% strength. I even get it at 15% strength. But that doesn't matter because the only thing that matters is you know what percentage you need to dilute the chemical down to. You need to have a good understanding of how far to dilute your chemical down. On vinyl surfaces and hardy board surfaces, you want to spray about a 1% to a 1.5% sodium hypochlorite solution. You can see that we have our fan pattern on this low pressure nozzle. It's a fan pattern and it's very low pressure. I could actually put my hand in front of that nozzle and it wouldn't even hurt my hand. But we're working from the bottom up, and that ensures that we're not going to miss any spots. It's real easy if you apply soap from the top down to think that you've covered everything, but to actually miss a couple spots. So I apply soap from the bottom up. Make sure you get sodium hypochlorite on the vertical downspouts of the gutters, and whenever it gets to it, make sure you clean the outside of the gutters as well as underneath the soffit. And you have to be very careful when you're spraying the soffit because there's a lot of holes in it. You don't want to flood the attic with water. So just do a light spray over the soffit, ensuring everything is coated in your cleaning chemical. I've just coated the entire side of this house, the siding, the outside of the gutters, soffits, everything's coated, guys. I'm going to let it dwell for about 5 to 10 minutes. That way, all of the organics are neutralized at low pressure. The chemical's doing the work, guys. We're not using high pressure. After the chemical cleans everything, I'm going to come back like I am right now, and I'm going to start rinsing. But this time, we're going to rinse from the top down. Once I thoroughly rinse this side of the home down, I'm going to move around the back side of this house and use the same process to wash the back side of the house, guys. Before I move on to the back, I'm going to do a final rinse down of all of these plants with clean water to make sure that there's no leftover chemical on them.
Running a service business is hard. Keeping track of customer info, estimates, work orders, and invoices. It's a lot to manage. But what if there was an easier way? Introducing Workflow CRM, your all-in-one command center for service businesses. Store all your customer information in one secure place. Create and send professional estimates in seconds. Schedule jobs, track progress, and manage your calendar with ease. Generate and send invoices all from your desktop, tablet, or phone. Simplify your workflow. Streamline your business. Sign up for Workflow CRM today at myworkflowcrm.com.
All right, everybody, I'm inside this customer screened-in porch, and I've already soaped down everything. I let my sodium hypochlorite dwell for about 5 to 10 minutes. Once everything was looking good, I started rinsing everything down, starting with the ceiling and rinsing the walls, then washing the floor out. I get questions about fans all of the time. I like to stand directly underneath the fan, and I spray the ceiling, and I spray away from the light fixture and the fan fixture. That way I don't risk getting water inside of it and ruining it or causing a fire. Whenever it comes to screens, people ask all of the time, do I apply chemical on screens? And I do. If there's pollen or there's organics, here's what you need to know. Just make sure that you don't let that chemical dry on the screens, because you can leave streaks. Make sure you do a thorough rinse. That's going to help you get all of the soap off of it and then get any pollen that's really annoying and stuck inside the screens. Just make sure you do a thorough rinse. The same goes with the glass windows on the house, guys. You could rinse off the side of the house and everything's good, but just take a little extra time to rinse off the glass. That way you don't leave any soap streaks. And when it comes to this furniture, guys, and this rug, typically I always ask the customer to move that out of the way, but they insisted on leaving it in there. They just asked for me to rinse off all of the pollen. So that's what I did for them. All right, guys, as we continue with the same wash process that we've been using on this third side of the home, I want to take a moment and talk about trim pieces like this around the metering can. And there's also little caps that you might see around the house. Sometimes it's nice to have a pump-up sprayer with a little bit hotter of a mix than what you're downstreaming. 9 times out of 10, when you downstream the house, that bleach solution is going to clean up everything just fine. But sometimes you'll have stubborn caps like this and PVC pipe that might have heavy growth on it, where it might be left over after you downstream the house. It's nice to just be able to use a pump-up sprayer with like a 2%, 2.5% mix, and you could easily just spray on these problematic parts right here. You could even spray it on a rag and wipe down around that metering can with a bleach solution. I'm going to be real careful, and I'm just going to gently spray this little bit of a hotter mix on this trim piece right here, and within seconds that's just going to melt off for me, and then I could continue with rinsing this side of the house and then rinsing down all of the associated vegetation. All right, so just a status update. We have worked our way in reverse around the house and washed 3 sides. Now we're on the front of the house, which makes it really easy whenever it's time to reel up our hose reels and get out of here. I'm going to take a few moments and rinse down all of this vegetation. These are some pretty hardy bushes. You know, I'm going to pre-soak them really good. That way we don't burn them up. And as always, guys, if there's a lot of flowers or delicate things, that's whenever you want to break out some sheets of plastic and cover those plants. But pre-wetting these, I'll be just fine. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this video, please give me a thumbs up, guys, so I know that you guys are getting some value out of it. And maybe you want to learn more. Maybe you want to start your own pressure washing company or even grow your existing company. Check out Softwash TV Pro. I'll put the link in the video description as well as the comment section, and we'll watch this little quick 30-second commercial for it right here so you can learn more about it before we wrap this video up. What's up, everybody? Before we continue, just a friendly reminder, make sure you check out Softwash TV Pro, the exterior cleaning industry's answer to the need for quality pressure washing and soft washing training. Not only will you learn about safety, but we will teach you how to wash. Learn from a pro the ins and outs of house washing, concrete washing, and low-pressure roof cleaning. We teach wash techniques and preventative measures for property protection. Softwash TV Pro will educate you about industry equipment and all of the chemicals used during daily operations. Learn marketing strategies from a successful pressure washing company and take advantage of numerous resources that will help you start and grow a pressure washing company. Thanks for watching. Now back to the video. All right, everybody, the house is washed. The final step I have to do is pull the tape off of the house where I taped off the electrical components. And what I like to do is get some cut up t-shirts or some microfiber rags. These are actually white cotton t-shirt wiping cloths. They sell them at Ace Hardware. And then instead of spraying bleach, because there might be mildew on those electrical covers, you know, that you taped off. And then whenever you pull the tape back, it might be exposed now. Last thing you want to do is go in spraying bleach and then having to re-rinse again, pulling hoses all the way around the house. I have a little squirt bottle right here. Pro tip for you. Most of it's water, and I'll just add a little splash of Fabuloso, which is an all-purpose cleaner. So I'll pull the tape off if there is mildew there. I'll do a light spray on the rags, and then I'll wipe off the components to get that mildew off of there. That way everything is sparkling clean. I'll also grab my leaf blower. That way if I'm walking in the screened in porch or in the front entryway and I end up tracking in grass, I could use the leaf blower and blow the grass off of the concrete. That way I don't leave a mess after I've just spent the last hour washing the house. Here's a prime example, guys. Got mildew right here and around this fixture. So I'm just gonna take my rags right there. Wipe it down, comes right off. All right, y'all, I'm back here at the shop, and as promised, we're gonna do a really quick down and dirty on equipment in regards to house washing, guys. Specifically downstream injection, because in all honesty, I have like 4 different ways I could soft wash houses with this pressure washing rig right here. I have a dedicated soft wash system. I have an X-Jet that I could use in conjunction with a pressure washer. And then I have my actual pressure washing machines that I use downstream injection with. So in this video, I was using downstream injection. Let's talk about it. All right, guys, this isn't gonna be crazy in depth. This is a brief overview for somebody that has no clue what I'm talking about. For the majority of my house washing, I use downstream injectors, and this is what they look like. The majority of what you're gonna see are things like this. They come in different sizes. You'll see 1.8, 2.1, 2.3, and basically what that means is that's the size of the orifice, and that's going to directly correlate to the amount of chemical that you're drawing and how strong your mix is. But the theory of downstream injection is pretty simple, and it's defined in the name, downstream. We're injecting chemical, like right here, we're injecting it downstream of our pump on our pressure washer. So I have 2 different machines on my truck right here. This is a fuel-injected IGX 800. This is an 11-gallon-a-minute pump. Then I have a carbureted machine right there, a GX 630, and that's on a 5.5-gallon-a-minute pump. Both of these, I'm injecting my chemical downstream of the pump. That way, chemical is not inside the pump itself, corroding the internals, guys. So when this machine's running, it's cycling, the pump is cycling, it's pressure washing water, or it's pressurizing the water, and then the pump kicks it out through this high pressure hose, this whip line, and it goes directly to my hose reels right here. All right, on my hose reels, I have my high pressure hose. That's what I'm actually pulling to the house and I'm spraying with. But I plumb my downstream injectors right here at the reels. I think it's the most simple way. So whenever this high pressure water is going through the hose, it's siphoning chemical from my chemical tank, guys. And I'll go in depth a little bit more on my downstream injection boxes, but that's the premise, guys. Downstream of the pump, we're injecting chemical into our line, and we're spraying the water onto the house. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I really like these adjustable M5 twist nozzles. You can see right through here. Let me hold it just right. You can see directly through this M5 twist nozzle, and that would give you like a 0 degree stream where you're shooting really far. Whenever you spin and rotate this, it closes down on it. That's going to give you more of that fan pattern. I hope you guys can see that. Whenever I need to shoot really far, this nozzle assembly right here, it allows me to have 2 different tips. So I have my adjustable nozzle, and then I have a shooter tip. The shooter tip is what I'm going to use. It's a 0 degree stream whenever I'm shooting really high up and I'm trying to hit the eaves and the really high up fascia boards, guys. I might switch to a shooter tip. This setup right here, this combo is bigger orifice holes, so it's for a higher flow machine. So I would use this on a 10-gallon-a-minute or bigger pressure washing machine. This setup right here I use on my 5.5-gallon-a-minute machine. So same premise though, it's a 2 nozzle holder, M5 adjustable tip, shooter tip, and all of the pressure guns that you see in all of my videos, guys, for the past umpteen 9 years, I use Suttner trigger guns. And I like to set them up with high pressure swivel. That way it could just freely spin right here. I'll have my quick connect on the bottom to attach to my hose. If I'm just washing houses all day, I don't use a DN10 ball valve really, because it's just less weight and it's just easier to use if you're washing 5-6 houses a day, guys. But if I'm doing surface cleaning and I'm doing concrete work, I'm constantly switching between a gun or a lance or a surface cleaner. I'll have a high pressure DN10 ball valve right here. That way I could close this ball valve. It stops the flow of high pressure, and then I could easily switch between a surface cleaner and a gun, guys. So back to downstream injection. I'm kind of starting to ramble. I don't want to do that. A lot of people ask, how do I switch from spraying chemical to not spraying chemical whenever I want to apply chemical or I want to rinse the house? I used to build these boxes here, guys. I don't build them anymore, but a lot of companies build a similar box. A lot of people call them remote downstream injection boxes. Some people call them remote bypass boxes. Those work a little bit differently, but in this scenario, I could turn this box on right here. I have a remote control. That way I don't have to keep coming back and forth to the truck. And basically what I would do, after I've wet all the plants, I wet the plants down, wet different things down, cooled the siding down, then I want to spray chemical, I just hit the on button. I have a visual indicator here. Simultaneously, this ball valve opens, allowing me, whenever high pressure water is flowing through the injector, now this ball valve's open and I'm sucking chemical from the chemical tank, guys. And it's going out to my pressure gun. Whenever I want to stop drawing chemical, I just hit the off button. And then the ball valve closes, and now chemical can't go through this line, guys. So, like I said, they make other devices that just bypass your injector completely, but the theory, it works the same way in theory, guys. So, that's about it as far as downstream injection, guys. If you want to learn more about it, I have hundreds of videos talking about it, and I even have online training where I go really in depth on all my equipment and stuff, guys. I talk about downstream injection, I talk about X-jets, I talk about dedicated soft wash pumps, guys, like this Comet P40, guys. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I didn't intend it to be 20 minutes, but this video will probably be a 20-minute video, guys. But hopefully after me articulating my process, you have a better understanding of how I wash houses, and hopefully it makes you more efficient, guys. So if you found value in this how-to video, if you found value in me kind of breaking down downstream injection, give me a thumbs up, guys. It just takes a quick click, and it really shows me that, hey, people are finding value in these videos, and I should continue to make them, guys. So I'm here at the shop. I got to replace this unloader right here, this big boy. So I probably have close to 700 hours on this unloader, and it's starting to fail, so I got to swap that out. And back to the grind, guys. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace. Before I go, I just wanted to say thanks for watching, guys. I'm here at the crib. I'm unwinding with some bone-in pork chops. I have some chicken kebabs on the grill, some stuffed mushrooms, and you know I had to throw that corn on the cob on there. Y'all take it easy.